Hey guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman YouTube channel. Today we are doing our transformation series and we've got Dylan in the chair. Now, Dylan, what were you thinking today, Dylan? What is the plan?
So normally I usually get a skin fade.
Okay, wow, okay.
But, obviously my hair's really thin.
Yeah.
So I usually have the problem of my scalp being shown.
Yep.
Stuff like that, which is why I have it long.
Okay.
But I want to get rid of all of this that's in my eyes because obviously it's...
I can't really see you, mate, to be honest. Especially with wearing a mask.
And I don't know, skin fade on number one on the side and the back and just clean everything up.
Yeah, so are you liking the curls though? Do you like? Yeah, I think they look wicked, mate. They look great. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's a wicked transformation, man, to be honest. Yeah, definitely. What would be quite nice though as well is with the curls, if we did a very similar thing to the way we do our crop fringe, okay, I don't know if you've seen any of the videos, but where we cut the fringe a bit shorter and everywhere else is layered on top of it, that works fantastic on curls, because that way you've got the kind of loose curl at the fringe, but then you've got a lot of weight behind it, so it gives a lot of shape and kind of, it keeps the thickness in there as well. Now, if your hair's a bit thinner, something like that will work really, really well. Spray a little bit of salt spray in there, or put maybe a bit of powder in there to really bump them curls up as well. So we take the fringe maybe to eyebrow level, and everything else will layer on and match up into place as well. We'll keep a nice square shape in there as well. I think that'll be awesome. Yeah, sweet, nice. Good transformation this one. Be wicked, awesome. Right, I'm gonna give you here a shampoo and condition, 2 shampoos, 1 condition, and then we'll get started. All right. Is this growing out from a skin fade?
Yeah.
Wow. God, I mean, that's the thing. It's I'm so happy you haven't took to the clippers yourself, mate, because that's I was going to say that would be more. We do a DIY series, I think, more than a transformation series. Right, guys. So I've just shampooed and conditioned Dylan's hair. Now, as you can see, especially when you make it wet, you can see it's quite fine through the top. Okay, so I think keeping them curls, keeping more length. What we spoke about at the start, as I was looking through the hair, I could sort of see what that would be like. So we're going to put the primary shape in first, okay? So I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to work down to the sides and the back. I reckon if we took off sort of that much, I think that would be much better. I think going shorter through here, obviously longer than the front, but going a bit shorter through here would be quite nice, because I think the shorter you go, the thicker you can make the hair, because it tends to be thicker at the root and thinner towards the ends. Now, Dylan's got a double crown. See, he's got a double crown. He's got... There's his main crown, there's the other one kind of fitting in through there as well. As you can see, it kind of almost comes over here. But now if he was a 8-year-old boy with super thick hair, he'd be the devil child to me, because it would just stick up, okay? Now, good thing is, when you're a bit older, you've got slightly finer hair, you don't have to worry too much about the crown through here, especially on Dylan's hair texture. I think we have to drop the fade down though. I think if we go too high, it might be too flat up here. So I think we drop that fade down, build more weight through here. That'll be really nice for a profile shot as well. Separate the crown. I'm going to put a T-section in. You take it from one side to the other, work it from the nose all the way up, and that way you get a nice, perfect centre part. I'll work that down, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring that back from the recession point, and I'm going to clip that back there, like that. Curly hair, and it's a bit wet, that will spring right back up. So let's just bear in mind, let's have a little look at how much that sort of bounces up. So just lightly push on the hair to see where the bouncing, where that kind of starts to curl back up. Now, as you can see, that's going to get quite straight if we go mega short. So I think if we brought it down to about here and we cut that into about there, as that sits back, that will sit up to his eyebrow. Because as that dries, that'll spring back up. I want this to fall as natural as possible because it is curls, okay? I don't want him to spend 20 minutes down his hair. That's not realistic. And match, so that falls down there. So when that dries, that'll sit just nicely above. There we go, I've got my guide from the left-hand side. I'm just using the eyebrows as my guide to work across from. Again, same thing, tension's just holding it. You can see the guide coming through underneath. Cut it nice and straight, and just follow that all the way around. The same size section. Again, use the guide from the left hand side there, and the guide underneath as well. So you've got your guide from the right hand side or left hand side, and then you've got the guide underneath. So again, it's just following the guidelines, just so it's the principle and the foundation of everything we do in a haircut, really. You know, the guidelines are there for a reason. They're to follow, they're to guide us into the whole haircut. And that's why I find using it just right to left like that, it just makes it easier for me. Now, this is my last section I'm going to cut now to the front, okay? So just the apex of the head is here, so it's just one section before the apex, okay? Pull the guide. And point cut into that little bit just there. That's quite thick at the front. So like we spoke about before, we're going to get away with taking a bit off here, just because it's quite fine hair. So I think the shorter you go, the better it'll look, but we want to still maintain a lot more length in the top. So I'm thinking if we went about that, don't forget it will shrink. If we took off about that, that'd be a nice length because that would sit and fall quite nicely. Okay, so it's roughly about just under half the length. Now I'm going to cut this uniform, club cut, straight across, whichever way to use it, because when you're working with curls, there's no real point in point cutting it. Now I only put the point cut the fringe there because it was quite thick, but you wouldn't really point cut into curls because it would kind of shatter the ends. Curls have their own way of making their own texture. So there's my guide from behind, straight up. Then the guide from underneath, as you can see. So we're going to work it straight up as we get to the fringe. Okay, we're not going to over direct it like we would do on a normal crop, because I'm not looking to try and preserve too much thickness or weight at the front. It's purely just for shape. There we go, with my guide underneath. Straight up. There's nothing to take off, okay? Just do it anyway. Now look how thick the front of that is now. Okay, it's really, really thick looking compared to what it was, okay? Working from left to right, so from that middle section, working across here. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, I haven't really wet this hair down, okay? So I'm almost going to cut this to let it naturally dry. When you're working with fine textured hair, the wetter it goes, the more you're in the dark, you know? The more it kind of masks what you're looking to try and help create. Nice and straight up. We're working to the point where we don't need to take anything off, as now. Now the next one we're going to do now, we're going to do a horizontal section, okay? Because I want this to be the base of where we start the fade. So what this will do is this will create the line that I want for the fade, but it'll also maintain corner. Just over the round of the head, as so, and cut this in, okay? Nice and straight. So as we drop that down, we're creating a line before we can start our blending. Stop now. There we go. Now what we're going to do now, we're going to work horizontally into the top. Nice small section. And the same sort of length as we've been doing. There we go, I'm dropping it down. There's the guide. Cutting to match. That section now, just over to just off the centre. Down, not much should come off now, if anything. There we go, look, the tiniest little bit, there we go. You can see there's hardly anything coming off, it's just more just to make it more perfect. Perfect. So what we've done, we've directed everything down, so we've left a lot of weight through this corner. So as we start to work that through, we've got a lot of length through here, but we've also got a short element to blend into as well. Pull the guide. There we go. From the back here, and out, and then that drop. Not pulling too hard on it at all. Okay, the guide. Off centre, bring it down again, remember dropping it down to that point. There's the guide, nice and straight. Just going to slide through it a little bit just to break it up, okay? You've got that nice bit of weight sitting through there, as you can see, look at that movement through there. And the fringe is quite heavy, so what I'll do is just, when it's dry, just using the razor, and then just pick it up, and just as it's dry, just slightly razor through it a little bit, okay? It won't pull, because you're not doing a load of it. You're just visually picking up where you want it to fall and just break up that fringe a little bit. Just to break that up a little bit, okay, so I want it to sit nice and full. A little bit of salt spray. And I'm going to dry this off using a diffuser. So low speed, high heat, just start to dry this by scrunching it. And then just using a brush, brush it out a little bit as well. The curls sit a bit fuller. Yeah, so like I said, that's sitting right on the eyebrows now, like we said. See what I mean? The tension on that, sitting just bang on the eyebrows. I'm going to start to see that shape. So you can already see, if you take the hands off the back and sides, that's how the top's going to look. That's why it's nice starting on the top and then just doing the fade. Because if you cover it, the sides, you can see exactly how the top's going to look. It looks completely different with these being here. If you do that, that's how it's going to look. Through here, I'm going to use a vertical section to create head shape through here. I want to work it so it starts to layer on top of the blending. So we've done horizontal on that side. I want to do this now to create that head shape. So as you can see, the angle of my finger is pulling away from the top. But we're starting to do is just starting to layer this crown in as well, okay? Again, problem crowns, problem areas. Again, leaving the majority of it to the end is good because that way you can visually do it yourself. It's all dry. Good way of getting rid of a lot of bulk here as well when you do your clipper work too. See, looks a bit messy, but that's essentially where my guide is. Okay, so 2 in, I'm going to remove all this length, and so you'll push the comb in, see the guide there, up and off. And that way you've got a nice transition into the top, you know where you need to start from. I can move the mask to the back. Move all that length. Just use the corner of the guard just to pick it up. There you go. Now what I'll do is I'll blend the 2 into the top already as well, okay? Then you'll really see that shape starting to fall in now. Elevate it as well. Pop it down to the half and work it over it. Feed that hair in a bit. Go through. Feather that blend a bit more. It just helps to shatter the end of it as well. So it isn't like a perfect line then, it kind of just creates a slightly bit more texture when you're blending through. So there's my guide. Cut across. As you just brush that out, you start to see that starting to fall now. No way to back here, because that way I can shape the temple as well then. Have a nice contrast. Again, I'm going to drop it down as well to create more head shape at the back. Finish in the middle. Again, working up to the temple area. Dropping it down to meet in the middle. As so. Next up, we're going on to our minis now. Detail around here. And work up. Just pull the skin down to stretch it out. It doesn't clump up. And work that up into our 0. Work that into our minis. I'm going to place a line level with the mid temple. Go a bit higher at the back, obviously you've got a wider blending area, so go a bit wider at the back. Clip it nice and flat against the head. And now what we're going to do, we're going to work down through the lever until we get down to our skin. Now I'm 1 notch up on the lever now. I'm working up again, but I'm coming a bit lower down now. As you can see, I'm just kind of using the corner of the clipper as well, just to get that blend going. You see I'm going a bit wider here. Stretch that blend out at the back. A bit lower down on the hair. Higher up on the lever. Again, now I'm at 0. Just way through the lever now if you see any darker patches. on the 1. Just going higher up into the 2 now. So don't forget the 2 was here. I'm going to work up and off with the 1.5 into that 2. Okay. Through the lever. To blend that into the 1/2. Working up into our 2. Scooping off into that 2. Some slow-mo, going flat, coming off. There we go. I'll move on to my 1/2 guard. I'll just use the corner, lever open, and just use the corner. Just work through the guard until you see them dark areas move, but just use the corner. And just take the guard off and just go over yourself, whatever you can see. Longer comb, my Matador 42, it's like a 1.5 length. So I'm just going to go over these little bits just to perfect it. It's done. How's that look for you? I know, I can see you in a bit of shock then when you're like, wow, yeah, it's done. So what we do to finish is I'll use a bit of powder, okay? So this is a styling powder. And what you do is just above your head, okay, just like basically just tap it and tilt it over, okay? And this will really add thickness, it'll break it up a lot more for you as well. Put it in your hands if you want as well, so if you want to scrunch it in through your hands, that's fine. Just sprinkle it across like that. And that adds loads of thickness, really brings out them curls. Put that fringe and that just fall onto your face. And you can just twist to create that shape, okay? But again, when you wake up in the morning, mate, this should just fall nicely for you as well, okay? So, I mean, you had a style in mind, right? So you wanted to go back to your original skin fade and then obviously longer curly hair on top. But why I suggested doing, because I want you to be happy with what you want. I want you to pick what you want. Again, this is transformation, but also, you know, it's 3 months of growth as well. So I thought what we could do is work it like a sort of crop fringe, okay, through the front. Only because it allows you, when you have the fringe a bit shorter, you can leave more length through the back here because it looks shorter. So if a fringe is short, it essentially to the eye makes everything else look shorter, okay? Unless you have hair down on the sides, but if you have short hair on the sides as well and the fringe is a bit shorter, to most people and to yourself, you think, oh, my hair's quite short. So you can get away with keeping more hair through here, which I thought would be really nice, to have that kind of nice movement of the curl and kind of keeping that head shape as well, nice and square through there. I just thought it would allow me to have a little bit more to play around with here, to kind of add the thickness to your hair, add the kind of pliability to this look as well. So having that fringe a touch shorter, just setting your eyes, that is actually a lot longer through here. I think it just adds a lot of things, like a lot of kind of style to this sort of skin fade as well. You know, you see that kind of contrast of the long fringe, but then you've got that nice contrast of the skin fade on the sides as well. So I think it just looked nice to kind of leave that kind of bluntness element to the front a little bit longer through the back, just to allow you to get some longevity out of it as well.